This is Bob Balch from Fu Manchu, and you're watching Aftershock TV.
Oh, cool. But anyway, yeah, so that's a bath. They're back. So good stuff there. I've got one more topic just to talk, not too much into this. I know you've got one other thing.
No, take your time, dude. I got all afternoon.
All right. So there's, and I'm not going to put any pictures of these guys up and on because I do not want to promote them.
Okay.
So it's very interesting. As you know, I'm really, obviously dialed in with this doom metal, stoner metal world.
Sure.
I do this thing called the Doom Charts, which is just all these journalists across the globe that kind of, vote on, these albums and blah, blah, blah. It's just a cool little thing that's done. So there was a thing that happened a couple of weeks ago to about a month ago. Back in August, there was a band that released an album and it placed on these Doom charts. I think it was like number 15 it placed. Okay. And the band was called, I'll give you a name. They're called Hail Darkness. Okay. Right. So what they did was they put out a record. They promoted it like they would. I guess they got a publicist, everything, pushed it out there like any band would, right? Enough people within the stoner doom world heard it, and I guess enough people liked it to the fact where not only did it place number 15 on the charts, it sold out their vinyl. Now it was a limited release. I think it might have been 100 vinyl they put out, but it sold out. So once it all sold out, they just decided a handful of weeks ago to come out and reveal who they really are. Well, sort of not really reveal who they are because these are all secretive musicians. They're not letting people have aliases, and they're trying to compare themselves to like gorillas,
Ghosts or whatever.
Whatever. So basically, it's an AI band. It's a full-on AI band. Now, when I listened, when I heard this, because I didn't hear about it until some of the guys on the Doom charts came out and they let everybody know, dude, I found out this is not a real band, it's AI. And so after I saw that, and I saw a bunch of guys that are pretty, they're well-known guys in that world, in the Doom chart world there, a bunch of them bought the record, and they were like, oh my God, I got fucking played. I feel like an idiot, blah, blah, blah. They did reviews on them for the charts, and they gave them a great review, all this shit. Now, I went and listened to it. I was like, I got to obviously hear this. I don't know. I mean, it's just me. It's not my type. It's not my type of Doom. It wasn't really very, metallic or like riff driven Doom. It was sort of just dark sounding stuff. You know what I mean? Like, but not metallic. You know what I mean? It was just more darky Doom, which is, I guess that's kind of in the Doom realm, but I didn't dig it at all. I mean, the drums were flat and, whatever. I mean, you could hear.
Do you want to play a little? I know you don't want to promote them, but we can.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Do you have it up on there right now?
I got it.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, let's go ahead and play it just to give the audience a taste and see what they think.
30 seconds or a minute or whatever. Here we go. Here's Hail Darkness is With Horns of a Beast. I haven't heard it either, so I'm interested. Here we go.
All right.
Does it all sound like this?
Kind of, yeah.
This sounds like 60s music, like
it sounds acid,
60s like
psychedelic acid rock. So it's like an acid doom type of thing, like psychedelic acid type of, exactly. Right. So what's your take on that? Was that something you would buy?
No,
right?
Buy it.
Yeah, and sloppy. Like drums are flat. So I mean, when I heard it, I didn't hear that, so I heard a different one. But I don't understand it. But anyway, so basically, they came out and they admitted it. All right, they came out and said, okay, this is what we did, and they put a big thing. I sent you, I think, the link to this.
Yeah, I read it. I read it this afternoon.
Now I went back and forth with them for a bit on the comments there. I kind of was calling them frauds, all that stuff, right?
Sure.
Because my thing about it is like, look, I mean, yes, okay, a lot of guys got duped, but and I'm going to get to something later. But to me, if you're going to do AI music, obviously it's false advertising, right? To me, you know what I mean? Go out and just say, hey, this is an AI. Here's my thing. So they're claiming that it was an experiment.
Yeah,
So they're trying to compare themselves in their experiment to like a gorillas. Okay, like gorillas they have characters. There's nobody, you know. It's all. They also, I mean, there's a couple of points that maybe could be valid. Okay, one of them is that they're saying, well, for years back in say the 80s, okay, everyone got duped with Milli Vanilli. We all thought that was real, and they won a Grammy. Right? It was all produced. It was all produced.
Stop there.
Go ahead.
Then they had to give it back and were literally ridiculed in shame, and all the way to the point that the guy killed himself to stop being shamed.
Thank you.
So go ahead. That's what. So if this guy kills himself, then okay.
Exactly. And that was my thing. It's like, okay, you're comparing it, and then they brought up something about, in the vein of like a kiss or sleep token because they wear masks. No. Look. I what they're trying to say is basically their whole thing is like, well, you don't really know, is any of the music you listen to, the bigger band names, about you don't know who's really making it. Maybe is a producer behind the scenes, blah, 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 all this crap. My thing is this, okay, you want to do an experiment like that? I'm fine with it. Be ready then, okay, for people asking a refund to give them a fucking refund. Because to me, when you do an experiment, you fund the experiment. You don't have fucking people fund the experiment for you. By doing these little scams or these little freaking sneaky little things that you're doing here by not really exposing who you really are or what the band really is. And I went back and forth to the guy. I kept telling him, I said, look, I answered my question. I'm okay with you, of course, doing this, but the fact is you took people's money who thought this was real stuff. Now I know their thing is, well, they enjoyed it enough where they thought it was real. So what's the big difference, kind of thing.
Well, and they knowingly marketed it. It's not it's not an experiment. Stop with that shit. An experiment would be to make an album, put it up on Bandcamp and say, oh, check out our band. This is our first demo.
Exactly. And then
that's an experiment.
Give it away for free and then let people's reaction go, oh, yeah, it's great. You guys got any vinyl? Then you can say, you know what? Hey, we got 50 requests for a piece of, a product. And just to let you guys know, it's AI. Exactly. That's experiment. Not selling the record and going, oh, by the way, guys, thanks for giving us your money. It's AI.
The first step to their experiment was uploading it to DistroKid. So shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
You're lying because you're caught.
That's
really what it is. You're
really caught. I don't know if it was, and that's the thing too.
It is caught because.
Well, I think they actually came out though and put it out there before I think they got caught.
Because they probably saw the rumblings or somebody questioned them.
Probably.
Somebody questioned them.
Live. Well, they're not a live band, right? So it's like they probably ask him, who are you guys? Who's this? Blah, blah, blah. And like that video right there, it makes them look like it's like a trick singer and a bunch of, and that's not really them. At least I don't think it is.
It's AI created.
Exactly. Everything.
Look, I use AI all the time. I do. I use the
your artwork, right? Yeah.
Well, I use it now for sound too.
Okay.
The outro to my Seth show is a song that I wrote in AI, or I had AI write. There's a program out there called Suno. If anybody wants to write their own songs, SUNO.
Okay.
And I mean, you put in a couple of keywords and it writes a whole song for you. I mean, that's the thing that's absolutely the scariest of it all is these guys are still trying. I read the whole thing that you had sent me, the Substack, and I read your comments. I read the other guy's comments. I wanted to get a real feel for it. Here's where I'm going to call this guy a fraud, because it is within 20 seconds you can write a song.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm going to pull it up.
I'll pull it up.
Thought about doing this. Yeah. We'll write a song on the spot.
Let's do it.
How about that? Let's see. Create. Make sure I'm logged in here. So let's see here. Share screen. Suno. Now this is obviously the freest version of this stuff that you would ever want to say. But so we want to say doom metal sound, and we want it to be talk about how the band Hail Darkness are incredible frauds.
I like it.
And that's all we're going to say. That's it. Because you only get 200 characters. I mean, if you want to say more, we could, but there's just for the sake of doing it. So now I'm going to hit create and give it 15 or so seconds. This is how easy this is. And I wanted to do this on purpose so that people will see how absolute easy this is.
Fraudulent Shadows is the name of the song. Nice.
Yes. And we're done. We're ready to play. So
Wow.
these guys trying to make it sound like it was this social experiment. We did this, we did that. I just wrote 2 songs. Here.
Let's listen. Holy shit.
So this is what I'm trying to tell
Wow.
you. And
Yeah.
it works in Hail Darkness Lives a Lie, and it wrote all these lyrics. So these guys trying to make
Wow.
it sound like they did shit. How long did this take? I did it live.
Yeah. You know,
What
like
did it
2
I
seconds.
mean, it
Look at that.
15 seconds
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
most from the time we turned on. Now, could it be better? Of course, but we'd spend 15 seconds on it.
That's unbelievable.
10
Yeah.
minutes, you could have
know.
exactly what you want.
What you want, exactly. Mm-hmm.
So these guys saying it's some experiment. No, it's not.
Yeah.
I just showed you the experiment.
They made it sound like, oh, we even though it is whatever we worked. It's like you said,
You
that's
didn't
what they
work
worked.
on
That's
it.
the work right there. You typed in some
Yeah.
words. That's the work.
I just showed you the work.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's
there it
unbelievable.
is. So
Yeah.
maybe I should submit this to them as my new band. Called
Yeah, and call it
Fraudulent
Fraudulent
Shadows.
Shadows, exactly.
you know.
Oh, wow.
And not only did it look in 15 seconds, it didn't give me one version of it. It gave me 2
It gave
versions
another
of it. It gave
version
me
of
an
it.
alternative one
Wow.
in case I don't like that one. You want to hear that one?
Let's listen to that one. Absolutely.
Let's hear that one.
You know what you should do is just to send this song to those guys.
We could, dude. It'll have a link. It'll have a link on it. You could just easily, paste it. And
Yeah,
share it with them.
I'm going to share it with at least the doom metal crowd, the doom chart crowd, to see if they get a kick out of this. But like you said, I'm okay with them doing that experiment. In fact, that would be a pretty interesting experiment, because when you see what you just did, like this, just look at this experiment you just did, right?
Yeah.
It took you 30 seconds to do both or 15
Sure.
seconds to get 2 songs.
Yeah.
Now, if you submitted it to the Doom Chart credit, like, that's a good fucking tune, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you go, okay, but to sell a record for money, taking people's fucking money,
Yeah.
that's the. Now, I know what he's saying. I mean, I know what the guy, it's like, okay, well, look, you don't know what we're listening to, which, listen, it's true, right? We could be,
We
listening.
are. Let's not even say could
Yeah,
be.
we could
We
be.
are.
We are. We don't know. It's true. Which, like I said, I understand, and in a way, I agree with that experiment part, because it's true. It's like, yeah, shit. How much fucking music are we releasing to that's fake? He was saying, their question they wanted to answer is, will online reality one day become the dominant reality? Well, possibly.
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt it's going that way. I would have to say, for music at least, But again, when you're taking people's money, you know what I mean. I'm sorry. That's
I
where
agree.
that's when there's no experiment.
Look, the truth to this is that, and I'm going to be kind of walking in both lines here.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been this way.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Lukather is not wealthy because of Toto. Steve Lukather is wealthy because of every other band that he lent his guitar to, and was, an uncredited member of this band and this song and that song and whatever. And that's been going on the Wrecking Crew in the 60s. We certainly know that, album after album after album was billed as the Beach Boys, but was really those guys and you know, Mike Love
Exactly.
or whatever.
Michael, yeah, exactly.
You know, that's
Yeah, I know.
so it has always gone on. The difference between what these jokers are doing and those is the creativity. Because those, I don't care who you had play a song or play the notes or whatever, you had to have somebody with creative influence involved. As I just proved, you do not anymore. I'm not a creative guy. I literally said, give me a song about these guys being frauds.
And
That's just a random thought.
Yeah, yeah.
And out of a random thought, I got 2 full-length, fully written, fully put together songs. Drums, guitars, voices, bass. There's a lyric video. There's an audio part. All of that in 15 seconds. That's the difference. There's no creative vision or talent involved in what Hail Darkness did. None.
Yeah. And you know, and that's what it begs the question now, dude, is, you know, and I'll give it Todd, you know, Severin from Ripple. You know, he chimed in, and he's not a guy that usually chimes in on, like, you know, a lot of these, you know, sort of these kind of discussions, but he chimed in and he's just like, and this is a guy who runs a really good label. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And he's like, look, the bottom line is this then. I mean, it's really a lot of it is on us because we are like letting this, we have to expect more musically from these artists. Now I understand there's no artist development anymore. You know, the business is in shambles. It's not, you know, people can't really make a living doing it, so they can't spend the time to hone their craft like they once did. I totally get it. But our expectations have to be higher musically. Let's be honest, it really hasn't been, right? We've resided to the fact that, okay, we get it. It's not the same as it used to be. Just put out, you know, a decent enough albums with a song or two that are pretty good, and then go and play a festival tour, and we'll keep supporting you. We got to say, look, enough of everyone sounding like fucking Sabbath, like clones, and enough of just there's no originality because we're also not demanding it. People are spending their money on garbage.
Well, if they're spending their money, and that's the other part of it, dude. To compare this to clothes, it used to be Versace. I think Versace is clothes. It used to be Versace. Now it's Walmart.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything's fucking free. Everything's free.
Well, the material's cheap, so it rips in a fucking month. You know what I mean? You know, it looks good.
Yeah, but I mean, musically, in the old days, in our days, man, you had to go through 15 gatekeepers to get a record that would fail.
Yep,
that would fail. Not even to be Metallica.
Exactly.
You know, and look at how long it took Metallica. I mean, to point at the biggest band in the world, took them 5 records.
I know.
So they had to be good enough and busy enough and profitable enough to keep going before they established themselves.
Yes.
Really established themselves. Now, I got a guitar that plugs into my Mac, and I'm putting out an album. You know, and I'm reaching, you know, what's that guy, Nick Nocturnal. I'm reaching 700,000 people every time I have a riff in my head. So everybody's just so willing to consume it for free. Nobody wants to spend anything. Yeah. And when there's no investment in it, then there's no reason to invest in.
There's no value in it. Exactly.
So why am I going to spend 6 months to write the perfect chorus?
Well, it's also the fact that these artists, right? It's not about selling records anymore. It's about selling everything else. So they just sell records so they can
they're
tour.
T-shirt salesmen.
Exactly. So that's what it. And so it's like they're not going to. You're right. They're not going to spend. But then again, we're just accepting good. Okay, it's good. So that's good enough, and that's it. And then we still support it as long as it's like considered good, a song or two. We continue to support. See the same songs played live that we've heard a million times every time we see them. And so, but again, we're the consumers. Yeah. So we're the ones that, you know, that I don't necessarily even blame the artists, because they're thinking like, shit, if I just put together, you know, I got a song or two that's pretty good. Rest, I can put up some filler, put out an album, and people will buy it. You know, my core fan base will buy it. Sure. I'll be able to tour for another cycle and keep this thing going. We're just so resigned to the fact that Nothing's going to be great anymore. We'll take okay. That's enough.
Yeah.
You know, and
Well,
again, yeah.
A big part of that is because we have no skin in the game anymore. We don't buy anything. We really don't buy anything. You know, I mean, dude, any band, I mean, take you and me out of it because we're kind of in the business, but I'm talking about regular people. Regular people are not buying music. They're just not buying it. They listen to it. They listen to it for free on YouTube or on Spotify or whatever. There's no connection to it. There's no a band I know you like and I like as well, Ember. I think they're a great band. I really do. I think they're very, very seriously talented. And you know why they're not a big band? Because nobody's committing anything to it. They put up a song, you hear it, you're like, God damn, that is fucking killer. And then they go away for a minute and they go out of your mind for a minute because God knows you can hear it anytime you want to. And then 3 months from now, they'll put up another song and you'll be like, oh yeah, that's cool. And then you might go back and listen to the first song. But there's no skin in the game. Back when we were coming up, dude, when you got that fucking First Prong record in your collection, you played it every day for a year. Every day. No exceptions. No, I don't care if you had the flu. I don't care if you were traveling. I don't care if you were wherever doing whatever. You found a way to play that record because you had skin in the game. You invested in it, and those $15 back then meant a whole lot more to you than they do now.
It's a good point. That's true.
You know, to where now clicking on it, you know, on Spotify, what investment is that in the band?
Yeah, but I also think, you know, just like it was back then, though, right? We got tired of that, though. We got sick. We got sick of throwing our money away for albums that sucked. And I think, you know, and so later on, okay, we just became smarter, right? I think when we were younger, we were just gung-ho about the seed, and we heard about a new band. I want to be one of the first ones to get that record. I want to go out and get it. And a lot of times it wasn't great, but, you know, like you said, you'd listen to it a gazillion times to try to find a few songs that you're like, I spent $15-20. I got to find a few songs on here that that register. But and I remember, because you remember we started having in like Tower Records and stuff, like you'd start having those listening stations, right? Even some of these, I remember living in San Diego, there's a thing called Music Trader, and you were able to, all the used CDs, they had CD players. You'd go put them in, listen as much as you want, and buy it if you wanted. And that was, I loved that because it's like, okay, great. And even that, if it was used, okay, if it had one good song on it, I would pay $5 for it.
Dude, it really is proof positive that Lars was right. Napster ruined it.
It really did, man. It really did. It's
because,
so true.
Look, and I'll be the first one to admit, maybe I shouldn't because I somehow think the statute has expired at this point. But, dude, I don't know how you use Napster, but I didn't use Napster for new music. I used Napster for bands I wasn't, like I had heard, but not listened to, if that makes sense. You know, like I remember one of the first things I ever downloaded on Napster was the entire Triumph catalog.
Oh, okay.
Because I just didn't know anything about I knew like 2 songs. I knew Lay It on the Line and whatever the other song was that were radio hits. But I didn't know them. I just didn't know anything about them. And I listened to them and I downloaded the whole thing and I was like, you know, I just downloaded like 15 albums or whatever. I was like, oh, I'm going to figure out if I like this band or not. I listened to it and I was like, not my thing. But that's what I used Napster for. I never really was new music guy, but I get how people would use it for that at that point, was we were getting a lot of bad records. And that's the other piece that we can talk about, but people don't ever really point to. If you look at Napster's rise was in what, the mid to late 90s, 96, 97, 98, somewhere in there.
Yeah, it really took off. I think it was around 2000? 2001-ish, yeah.
But even then, I mean, fine. Point to the biggest bands that we were experiencing in our world at the time. Well, you had shitty Metallica records.
There was
you had shitty Megadeth records. You had,
like we said, those early 90 bands were starting to adjust to new metal, and they sucked. No, that was the early 2000s was one of the worst times, I think, for music.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you had a lot of bad music, and people were tired of $18.99 for a 22-minute Rob Zombie record that blows.
Absolutely.
You know, who wanted to pay $18.99 for Educated Horses before hearing it?
Yeah.
You know, and then when you heard it, you're like, this is shit. I'm not buying this.
Yeah. No. Well, and that's what I'm saying. I think That's why when with like, I mean, I really still believe though, if you put out a kick ass killer record, people will buy it. As much, no, of course not. But those hardcore music fans, the old school fans like ourselves, look, I that's what I do. That's kind of how I even buy my vinyl.
Sure.
I used to, for a little bit, I was buying vinyl just if a thing came out, but then I would listen to it and go, "There's like maybe one or two good songs. What am I doing?"
Right.
But at least we can listen to it beforehand. Now, because I've got the option to listen to it on Spotify or whatever, Apple Music or whatever. Yeah, if that's a killer record, I'm going to buy it on vinyl. I'm going to do that tonight, support the artist because I really want a great piece of music. I think it was because for so long, like you said, it was $18.99 for pieces of shit product.
Yeah.
That we were just tired of spending that much money for crap.
Yeah.
I don't think I really think a lot of people are okay still with. I know a lot of people more than I thought that still buy physical product. They still buy CD.
They
or
buy vinyl, and especially vinyl. They buy.
Well, a lot of people buy CD. You know, it's amazing. There's more people.
Really?
It's true. I've heard that a lot from artists, and you know, they're like, I'm telling you, man, we sell pretty good. You know, CDs still do sell. I hear it all the time. And lately, I've been seeing a lot of people who still buy product. Actually, a lot of them still because they still want to play it in their car. They have a portable CD thing and they still want to play it. I just switched over to vinyl just because, like I said, I do like, I know it's not for everybody, but I like the sound of it. But and if I want something, I want that big piece of artwork. I want that big thing to look at.
Something you put on your wall or something. If
exactly.
It's really cool.
Yeah, exactly. So I really still think there is people that want to buy product, want to buy a physical copy, but because we've got that option now, obviously, to listen to it before we get it, if it's not going to grab us quickly within the first play or two, yeah, we're not going to buy it. You know, but that is a thing too, right? When you used to get those records, like you said, not everything you listen to the first spin is going to be good.
Sure.
You got to give it.
You got to give it 5-10 listens.
You got it, and because we're at that instant gratification, we all are. Let's be honest. Even us, even old heads are at that.
Yeah.
We don't want to sit there and listen to it twice in a row. If it didn't grab us right away, we don't have the patience.
Sure.
But I think if you've got and if you put your top 3 songs, 1, 2, 3, boom, it's going to grab people, and you can still sell product. You know what I mean? But I think just in general, they're not bands are just not spending time, and I get it. We don't have time. You know, everyone has to work, you know, I mean, especially middle-aged people, they're having kids and they don't have that time. You're not, and it's just a different, right? You can't tour the States like you used to and build up your audience little by little like you used to. No, you're playing for 10 people on a Tuesday night, Wednesday night. Yeah. What's that? You might get one new fan out of that. That's it.
Yeah.
If you go to fucking
and honestly,
Tulsa
you're going to end up paying $200 or $300 to get that
do
one
it.
fan.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
And it's just, but I just think we need, if we don't want AI music, we've got to demand more. You know, I mean, like right there, that what you just played, that's probably a good 2.5-3 minute song there of verse chorus, your typical standard song that they'll write. But we got to demand more. We got to demand more, better leads in these songs. We can't just be satisfied with like, it's decent enough. Okay, well, go ahead.
And there's ways to do it, and people need to stop being so fucking lame. Quite honestly, and I'll point to just one, but there's a million ways. Number one, I don't care what band it is, other than the top 10 biggest in whatever genre you listen to. Look on Bandcamp and see if it's there, and listen to it there instead of Spotify. Because with every time you play something on Spotify, you're hurting the bands, and the bands all say, well, 1/10 or 1/1,000,000th of a cent is something, but it's not. It's not beneficial to them. It's more beneficial to the bands if you go to Bandcamp. And I'm stunned now. Century Media is out there, Nuclear Blast is out there, Metal Blade is out there, Earache is out there. All these labels have their full catalogs for their whole history out there. So if you want to listen to, I don't know, if you're an Armored Saint fan, you want to listen to, Can You Deliver? Just throwing some old song out there from 1980, whatever. It's on Bandcamp. You're helping Armored Saint a whole lot more going to Bandcamp, finding Armored Saint, and at least seeing the advertisement for their vinyls and their T-shirts and their tours than going to Spotify, giving them 1/1,000,000th of a cent, and giving that cocksucker Eck, value in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Support the bands.
Yeah. Well, there's two things to that. One, so when you talk to now a band like Armored Saint, since we're just using them as an example, that's okay to do for them because they're an established band already, right?
Yes.
But when you talk to these bands that aren't established, they're going to tell you the opposite in a way.
Yeah, I know because of the bookings. I get it.
Because of the bookings, right? Yeah. Okay. So I think that's where the dilemma. Also, I don't think people care anymore about what's going to help the bands.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, right? When it was just like when metal, I mean, we're talking about, metal from our day when it was quote unquote community based, but it really kind of was. I mean, we all wanted to help the bands.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
That's an old thing. I don't think people give a shit about helping the bands anymore. They just what's beneficial for me. Yeah. I got Spotify, it's cheap or whatever it is, and I got where I got whatever. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm just gonna play it on my phone in my car. I'm not gonna take the extra 2 seconds to go help that band. Yeah, again, though, but if you're somebody who has that rapport with your fans, okay, and you are good to them, they're gonna help you and they're gonna listen to you. So again,
you're right.
So I think it really comes down to just literally like just genuine human nature. Yeah. Be good to your fans. I mean, don't treat them like shit. Don't treat them like you're a rock star. Yeah. Talk to them online. Just give them thanks so much. Like their comment. That's all you got to do. Yeah. Just put a like on their comment. People get all super giddy over that shit.
Oh yeah, people post they cut it and post it on Facebook. Look at his Danny Filth comment. He liked my post or whatever.
Exactly.
Like, so what?
I mean, I don't know if they
even
people
comment.
Love that. Yeah. Just like it.
Yeah,
I mean, if you want to comment, it's even better. They'll definitely run over there. But I mean, I know what you're saying, though. Yeah, I mean, Bandcamp, like you said, it is better to give because buy the product there, like you said, they're getting more.
They get more of the money.
They get more of the money from that instead of getting it from
And I hate to say it, but it is true. I don't think that the members of and this goes back to the AI thing. I honestly don't think people give a shit anymore about the band themselves. I mean, you said about helping the band. I think just the band. There's that band Neely talks about all the time on the CMS, Leonid and Friends. And I went and saw it. I actually went and saw it. They're a Chicago tribute band.
Okay.
I went and saw it. They are phenomenal at what they do. There's not a single member of Chicago in this band. Not one guy from the band Chicago in the band. They're all from Russia.
Oh, wow.
$80 a ticket.
Oh, that's right. Jeez. Unbelievable.
Selling out everywhere they play.
Wow.
They're playing 3,000 seats. They played here at the Roxino, which is like 2,500 people. Sold it out.
Yeah, you're right. People aren't worried about the real deal.
People don't care.
No, they don't care. They just want to hear the songs. Yeah.
Look, there's a reason. I hate to promote like bands like Kiss or ABBA or whatever, but there's a reason that these bands are developing these digital versions of themselves. Because they can keep making money in licensing forever.
That's true.
And never have to leave their house.
The house, and they still get. I know it's unbelievable.
And and these tickets are not. Look at the Dio thing was an experiment in this when they did
the hologram
Dio
thing?
Disciples. Was that Dio Disciples?
The Disciples, yeah, sure, okay.
They trotted out a band that with any other singer makes $1,000 a night at best, and a videotape of Ronnie James Dio singing the songs.
Yeah.
And they charged $40 a ticket. And people went.
Yeah.
People don't care.
Yeah. I think what people want more than anything now is just convenience.
Yeah, the convenience and the music.
Convenience. That's it.
Dude, I was talking to my brother yesterday. He's in that world, the world of developing for like Oculus and whatever.
Okay.
And me and him were talking about it, and that is the way it's going to be. You're not going to get new music anymore. What you're going to get is, here's Kiss. Kiss has 20 albums. Here's the Dynasty tour. Here's the Asylum tour. And it'll be the set list that they played on those tours, and them with the look that they had on those tours, and you'll buy an expansion pack for $50 and you'll plug it into your Oculus, and you'll sit at home and watch it. And if you really want to go out and do it, you'll go to the Sphere in Vegas.
Yeah.
And you'll get the ultimate effect of it. But that is really where the technology is going now. It's The old days of I'm going to go into a hot, sweaty club in July and see 3 hardcore bands. That day is dead.
It's done. Listen, I think we've all reached our end point with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I have. I
have
like,
too.
you know, I mean, I live, you know, right across the bay here to San Francisco.
Mhm.
It's very rare that I'll go over there and see a show.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's a band I'm exactly that I have like a connection with, whether I know someone in it or it's an upcoming new band that I know needs the support. But there's been plenty of good shows that are happening in there. I'm just like, I'm not going there. Now I'll go to Oakland because it's closer, you know, and I'll take an Uber back and forth. But it's true. I think it's
over.
It's over. I mean, we talked. I think one of our last episodes we kind of said that we were like, you know, this stuff isn't important to people anymore. It's just it's straight up entertainment. You said it's just as that's why it's not a bad idea for a lot of these bands to just play in these smaller bars. I hate to say it. It's fine because you're going to get. I'd rather go to a smaller venue bar, okay, than have to deal with people. People don't want to be around people anymore. Is what it is,
That's
right?
true.
I don't want to be around a big crowd. We don't like big crowds. It's not fun anymore as you get older.
It honestly never was.
It never was.
Let's be honest. We put up with it because it was what we had.
We had, and we just thought that that's what you did, right? Oh, well, they get to play it a bit, and because the more people you went, you thought, oh, okay, it's this special thing. We realize now it's not special. It's overpriced. The value isn't what it once was. Musically, everything, aesthetically, what it is, and it's like, well, fuck it. Like you said, it's like, well, am I going to deal with all that, and in the park, and then to pay all these. You know, I mean, no one wants to support the Live Nations because that's what everything's going through. So it's like, well, fuck it. And I'm that way. I would rather just support the little band that's like, I don't care if there's 20, 30 people there. I know I'm not paying a fortune for drinks. I don't have to pay a shitload for parking. Yeah. I get to Uber it back and forth. It's still expensive. That's the thing, too. It doesn't matter. If whether you go down the corner, like when we were, you know, when Paul Diano was playing in Australia, these small bars down the street. I mean, yeah, I would much rather go see something like that now than to big fucking production, man. I'll see him even if he's sitting in his wheelchair. Well, not anymore, you know, R.I.P. to Paul, but even if he's sitting in his wheelchair like he was, I mean, I'll sit there to pay, you know, $15-$20 to see him sing some old Iron Maiden songs. Than having to go and they just played here recently, Iron Maiden, $200 ticket, $80 parking right there. That's not beer. Or anything with you know, any, you know, T-shirt or whatever. It's insane,
dude. It's across all mediums too, which is why which is why all of entertainment
is going down.
And I think, dude, here in Cleveland, they just had the fake Indians were in the playoffs against the Yankees, and you know, to go to those games is $100 a ticket or whatever, 150 a ticket, 50 to park, you know, and my attitude was no. You know, I mean, I'm not going anyway because they're fake Indians. But ultimately, my thought was, I can go to Pluto TV, I can go to the Great Games channel, and I can watch 12 hours of nothing but brilliant baseball games. Or I can pay $300, $400, $500, depending on who I take with me, and not even get a guarantee that I get any fun out of it at all.
Yeah. Well, you're far right. You're sitting in a stadium. You're high up. You're not close. Yeah. It's not intimate. That's my main thing. Is I like I went to that Doom, you know, the Desert Fest, I should say, in New York last month. It was fucking great because it's so intimate.
Right.
Again, everybody's right there. The band, you can see the guys in the band when they're done playing. They're just hanging out in the crowd. So if you did like them, you go up to them. They're all down to earth. No one's got these rock star egos, so it's like they're all mostly all approachable. It was a great time, and it's like that to me is those are the events that I will pay money to go because those couple $100 I spent, whether on a ticket, you know, the hotel, whatever it is I'm spending for beer and Uber, it was completely worth it. But you're right, if I spent that money just going to see what Iron Maiden, to see a 67-year-old Bruce Dickinson trying to read. I mean, I'm sorry, man. It's not that.
And it doesn't even matter how good it is.
It doesn't.
Is it $500 worth of good?
No, it's not. Nothing is that good. Not for see one band when I could see. I had 3 fucking full days of music at the Desert Fest. Was every band great? No, but were most of them very professional? Like I said, it was very intimate. It just gives off a much better vibe because you're not sitting stuck in a fucking tight seat in an arena that's 60 years old. Your back aching. I have to stand. I mean, we're talking about rock and metal. Then I have to stand up and be like a statue standing next to two other people in the middle of the row. I gotta ask everyone to move when I go take a piss or get another beer. Fuck that. Dude.
I know it sucks. It's dude, it's the corporatization of the world.
It totally is,
and it blows.
Yeah.
It absolutely blows. There's some things that were meant not to be corporatized, and music is one of them.
Absolutely, I agree.
Music has been wrecked by corporate. It just has.
I had an interest in music always.
It's always kind of been around me some way, shape, or form.
5 minutes sitting on a drum set, man, change your life.
This is the same black guitar that Marty McFly plays in Back to the Future.
I love the feeling I get in front of the freaking full stack here, just the vibration or something to it.
I'm lucky because I do have a little bit of a tap into the Fu Manchu lore, into the Nebula lore.
In order to keep things going, you kind of have to like start playing the game a little bit, you know, like the business game.
Everybody has to get through a day-to-day, and how do you exist and how do you get by?
As far as getting people to commit to bands, it's tough to keep a lot together these days, for sure.
Still sleeping on people's floor, that's still a reality.
Probably also playing with some of the best people I've ever played with. The creative juices don't stop. It just keeps going.
For me, it's just finding a balance of how much time I'm spending with my family versus how much time I'm spending working.
It's this validation that what you're doing actually has merit.
Obviously, we're a little long in the tooth, and we've been doing this for a minute, and now we can kind of do what we want. We don't need a record company. I'll do it myself. I'll do it the way I want to.
Just always be cool. Just be respectful. Those are your people. They're connecting to you on some level, even if they don't look like you.
It's got to happen, you know, or else I'll go crazy. Go crazy one way or another, you know. I might as well, you know, not go crazy if I can play music.
Maybe one day I'll have a Porsche, but you know, until that day, I'll drive a Chevy.
There you go.
All right.